I am a 30-year-old male, and I feel it is important to share the details from the beginning, as this situation is still quite fresh for me, having occurred about 3 weeks ago. My girlfriend, Emily, 28, sent me an unexpected message. We had been together for nearly 2 years and had been living together in my apartment for the past year. While things felt somewhat distant lately, I didn't perceive it as alarming. The message arrived on a typical Tuesday evening while I was preparing dinner. Emily expressed that things felt complicated and that she needed some space to think and figure things out. I kindly request that you refrain from contacting me for the time being. I will contact you when I am prepared. It is never ideal to have such a challenging situation. However, I am making an effort to be a supportive partner. I responded with my message. Understood. Emily. Please take the time you require. I have not received any further communication, which aligns with a request for silence, correct? I took some time to reflect, spending a few days in my apartment feeling confused and hurt, pondering the meaning of complicated. Work provided a welcome distraction. Then, on Friday night, while scrolling through Instagram out of boredom, I came across a post where a mutual friend had tagged Emily. The pictures showcased bright sunshine, a beach, cocktails, and Emily looking exceptionally happy, arm in arm with Jordan, her ex. The caption suggested they were living their best lives on an island getaway, reunited. My heart sank. The space she requested for reflection had turned into a tropical vacation with her ex-boyfriend. It became clear that she didn't merely want space. She wanted me out of the picture while she explored her previous relationship, keeping me as a backup plan in my own home, utilizing my resources while explicitly instructing me to leave her alone. Very well then. You desire space and no contact, which is why I arranged for a locksmith to change the deadbolt and knob lock on my apartment door first thing Saturday morning. The cost was approximately $250, but it was worth every penny for the peace of mind it provides. Regarding the car, some context is necessary. About 6 months ago, Emily's old vehicle finally ceased to function. She required a reliable car for her job in social media marketing, which involves numerous client meetings. However, her credit situation was not favorable. I agreed to assist her by purchasing a used but reliable Mazda CX-5 for around $18,000. Importantly, the loan, title, and insurance are all solely in my name. The understanding was that she would make payments to me, which she has done for the most part, and while it is her car to use, legally it remains entirely mine. I did not include her on the title or insurance. She personalized it extensively, treating it as her own. I took the spare key, which I always kept, and drove it to a reputable dealership nearby that purchases used cars. I briefly explained the situation, indicating the need to sell as the registered owner. They conducted a quick assessment and provided an initial fair market estimate of approximately $16,500, pending a full inspection and title verification. I agreed to proceed and signed the initial paperwork to initiate the process. They informed me that it would take a few business days to complete the inspection, finalize the offer, and manage the title transfer. I left the car there and took an Uber home. Her designated parking spot at the apartment complex is empty, and her belongings have not been moved yet. The item remains in the spare room closet. I have no intention of discarding it. While it may seem trivial, she was not permitted to re-enter my apartment without prior communication, which she had specifically requested against. I felt an unusual sense of calm, akin to executing a necessary procedure. Although it was painful, I recognized that, beneath it all, I felt somewhat foolish, yet anger was not my primary motivator. It was reasonable for her to request space and no contact. She indicated that the relationship had concluded by vacationing with her ex. I was merely honoring her request and safeguarding my assets at home. Now, I await the outcome. According to Instagram, her ideal vacation lasts another week. We'll see what transpires upon her return when her key no longer functions. Update: she has returned. It's time to see what unfolds. Last Tuesday evening at approximately 9 p.m., I, Ryan, a 30-year-old male, was watching television, attempting to distract myself from the unease I felt. Suddenly, I heard keys jangling outside the door, followed by the sound of a key scraping in the lock. There was a moment of silence, then more frantic scraping, culminating in a series of loud knocks. "Ryan! What is going on? Open the door!" Emily's voice was annoyed, though not yet panicked. I took a deep breath and opened the door just a crack, keeping the chain secured. She stood there with a suitcase beside her, looking tanned and visibly upset. "My key isn't working," she explained. "Did something happen to the lock on my door?" "No, I adjusted them." "Why would you do that to me?" "You requested space and no contact, Emily. I provided it to you permanently. Could you clarify what you mean?" "I required some time. You cannot simply exclude me." "I observed the vacation photos with Jordan. It appears you have resolved matters." Her expression shifted from annoyance to fury, accompanied by a sudden look of panic. I informed Emily that it was merely a trip. It held no significance. We are friends who embark on romantic island getaways while requesting space from their current partners. Understood, Ryan? That's simply unreasonable. Please allow me access. My belongings are inside. Where is my car? Her eyes darted to the empty parking spot. Where is my car, Ryan? The entitlement was palpable, an assumption that everything would simply be at her disposal. First and foremost, this is my apartment. Secondly, the vehicle in question is legally registered in my name, and I am in the process of selling it. The vehicle is currently at the dealership. I am surprised to learn that you are selling it. That is not permissible. I have completed the payment for that vehicle. You made payments to me for its use, Emily. You did not purchase it. The title and loan are in my name. The sales process has commenced. This situation is unacceptable. It appears that there has been an act of theft directed towards me. I am contacting law enforcement as she has indeed taken out her phone. I suggest you proceed to contact them. Clarify that your former partner independently changed the locks on his apartment following your request for no contact and subsequently went on vacation with another former partner. Additionally, inform them that he is in the process of selling his car, which is titled and registered solely in his name. Please inform me of the outcome. She paused, phone halfway to her ear, and then her expression shifted to one of anger. Emily, you terrible person. You orchestrated this, planned a vacation with your ex, and requested my silence. I honored your wishes and faced the repercussions. I will not be kept on standby in my own home. Suddenly, another voice emerged. Her sister Brooke, 26, must have been waiting in the car downstairs. She approached the walkway with determination. Brooke. What is happening, Emily Ryan? What is the reason for her being locked out? Initiating an emotional response for her sister. The locks have been changed. He is in the process of selling my vehicle. He is dismissing me, and Brooke is turning against me. Are you truly serious after all that she has done for you? You removed her from the apartment and sold her belongings. This is my apartment, Brooke, and that was my car. She requested no contact and chose to go on vacation with Jordan. You can verify this on her Instagram. The task has been completed. She required some distance. You are meant to provide her with support, not to impose consequences. Support her despite her infidelity. Negative response. Thank you. She has made her decision. Emily has now begun requesting her belongings immediately at 9 p.m. I am unable to accommodate this evening. Please feel free to arrange a time to collect your belongings. Please provide a date and time, and I will ensure they are boxed and placed near the door. Access will be limited to the entryway. While you may have preferences, I will be adhering to my own guidelines within my apartment. As you requested no contact, this will serve as the new arrangement. Please text me a suitable time. Farewell. Close the door and secure the deadbolt. My hands trembled slightly from a mix of adrenaline, anger, and lingering hurt, but predominantly, I felt relief. It was accomplished. The confrontation has concluded for the time being. I could hear them outside for another 5 minutes, with Emily yelling and Brooke attempting to calm her down, likely exacerbating the situation. A couple of hours later, I received a text, not from Emily, but from Brooke's phone. The message stated that Emily needs her belongings tomorrow at 10 a.m. Prepare yourself. Regrettably, I must decline. Negative response. Thank you for your attention. After receiving a response, I dedicated the following hours to organizing Emily's belongings, including her clothes, toiletries, books, and various items. I gathered everything I could find and placed it near the door, which felt refreshing. Later that week, possibly on Thursday, the dealership contacted me to inform me that the inspection had been completed. The final offer was set at $16,350, with a minor adjustment for tire wear. I went there Friday afternoon, signed the final title transfer documents, and they handed me the check. I deposited it immediately. It felt like closing a very costly and emotionally taxing chapter. We look forward to what tomorrow's pickup day will entail, anticipating further developments. Update 2. The past week has been quite eventful, with levels of entitlement reaching new heights. It is almost remarkable. The pickup is scheduled for 10 a.m. As scheduled in the previous update, at the appointed time on Wednesday, there was a knock at the door. It was not Emily, but rather Brooke and their mother, Karen. Emily was waiting in the car, seemingly too distressed to confront me. Karen promptly began, tears welling in her eyes. Crocodile tears, I suspect, from Karen Ryan. How could you treat her this way after 2 years? She expresses affection for you. However, it seems that she did not prioritize that connection when choosing to vacation with her ex while requesting space from you, Karen. It was an error in judgment. She experienced a state of confusion. It would be advisable to consider forgiving her regarding the sale of her car. That was unkind. She requires that for her professional responsibilities. It was my vehicle, legally mine, and her misunderstanding resulted in a breach of our relationship. Actions have consequences. The vehicle has been sold. Please open the door wider to display the boxes stacked in the entryway for me. Please collect all of her belongings. Ensure that nothing is left behind, as this is the only opportunity to do so. Thank you. We will need to inspect the closets in the bathroom. Negative. Please feel free to take what is available in the entryway. I have gathered everything I could find. However, I must ask you not to proceed further into my apartment. I appreciate your understanding, Ryan. What are the implications of potentially overlooking something? It is regrettable that you are able to remain here. I will remain here to receive the boxes. The situation was quite clear. They seemed intent on pushing boundaries, perhaps hoping to engage in further argument or uncover something of value belonging to Emily that they could claim I had kept. This was not occurring. They exchanged murmurs among themselves while proceeding to remove boxes, which took them 3 trips. Throughout this process, Karen maintained a continuous narrative about my perceived heartlessness, Emily's devastation, and claims for compensation regarding the car. I remained composed, refraining from much engagement, consistently stating that it was my car and that Emily had ended things, much like a repetitive refrain. Following their departure, the text messages began, primarily from Emily, oscillating between tearful apologies. I look forward to our next meeting. I made a significant error, and I am now requesting to be reconsidered, accompanied by strong expressions of frustration. Payment for the vehicle is due. I will pursue this matter in small claims court regarding the funds that are rightfully mine. I chose not to respond to the emotional messages regarding the demands I had sent. Emily replied, stating that the car was legally mine, with the title, loan, and insurance all in my name. Her contributions were solely for the period she used it, akin to rent, and I saw no need for further discussion. I subsequently blocked her number, along with Brooke and Karen. However, this did not prevent some mutual acquaintances from reaching out to me. Most of them were people I knew through Emily, and their tone was accusatory, suggesting I had wronged Emily by selling her car. It seemed she was portraying me as the villain, claiming I had kicked her out and taken her car out of spite, conveniently omitting the details about the vacation with Jordan. I believe I provided a brief explanation regarding the situation in her text about the ex-vacation and the car, which is legally mine, to a couple of individuals. I believe the results were mixed. Some individuals understood the situation, while others seemingly accepted her narrative. Ultimately, people will hold on to their beliefs, regardless of the circumstances surrounding this attempt. Yesterday, I received a call from my landlord's office. They informed me that an anonymous complaint had been lodged regarding recent disturbances and loud arguments in the vicinity of my unit. The complaint mentioned instances of shouting and raised concerns about potential confrontations. For a moment, I felt a chill run through me. This situation seemed deliberately orchestrated to put me at a disadvantage. Fortunately, I maintain a good rapport with the building manager. I provided a clear explanation regarding my ex-girlfriend, who was residing here without being on the lease. She recently moved out following our breakup. There was a brief loud argument outside my door when she found out I had changed the locks after her request for no contact and her subsequent actions. Her family was also present briefly for a supervised pickup of her belongings. There have been no disturbances within my unit, and she is no longer living here. The manager appeared to understand the situation and indicated they would document it. However, in the absence of additional verifiable complaints or actual disturbances, the matter is unlikely to progress. I suspect it was either Emily or Brooke attempting to create issues, which is quite disappointing. I received a message request on Instagram from Jordan, but I chose to delete and block it without opening it. I have no interest in engaging with him, as he is likely either gloating or trying to provoke further conflict. My stance remains firm. The sense of entitlement and underhanded tactics only reinforce my decision. They are not inducing feelings of guilt, rather, they are instilling a sense of justification. This situation reflects not just a singular error on Emily's part, but rather a deeper insight into her character and that of her enablers, Brooke and Karen. The response is not a complex retaliation, it is simply a necessary confrontation with reality. The apartment is secured solely in my name, and any complaints have been disregarded. The car has been sold, and funds are now in my account, with all legal matters firmly in order. Her belongings have been removed, and all communication channels have been blocked. Any future attempts at contact, particularly those that involve threats, will be directed to legal counsel for a cease and desist. I have already consulted with a lawyer to ensure my position regarding the car and apartment is robust. The ongoing demands and victim narrative, along with attempts to disrupt my housing situation, are disheartening. They seem to believe they can coerce and manipulate their way back into the previous arrangement that Emily dismantled. It is important to clarify that such tactics are ineffective. I'm just focusing on cleaning up the mess emotionally. It's tough to realize the person you lived with and cared about is capable of this level of deceit and entitlement, but better to know now. Final update: it's been about 2 months since Emily came back from her little space-seeking trip with Jordan. Things have settled down mostly because I refused to engage with the drama after that last update. Wanted to share the final resolution. The smear campaign continued for a bit, lost a few superficial mutual friends who bought Emily's sob story. Honestly, good riddance. Anyone who takes her side without hearing the full story isn't someone I need in my life anyway. My real friends, the ones who knew me before Emily, were solid. They heard my side, saw the blatant disrespect, and supported me 100%. Emily apparently tried to escalate things legally, sort of. I got a vaguely threatening letter from some budget lawyer. She must have scraped funds together for demanding $10,000 for the value of her contributions to the car and emotional distress. The document contained numerous typographical errors and legal jargon. In response, I had my lawyer draft a formal and concise letter. This letter included copies of the car title loan agreement and the insurance policy, both of which were solely in my name. It served as a reminder that her contributions were for usage depreciation during the time she drove the vehicle, essentially functioning as rent. Additionally, it indicated that she owed money if calculated per mile based on standard rates, which was a strategic assertion to emphasize my position, along with a copy of her original agreement. I require some distance. Please refrain from contacting me regarding the vacation photos with Jordan, which are time-stamped public posts. This serves as a warning that any further unfounded claims or harassment will compel me to pursue legal action, including filing for a restraining order due to prior attempts to create issues with my landlord. There has been complete silence since then, likely because her attorney advised her that she had no viable case. Engaging in a legitimate legal battle was never a feasible option for her, particularly without my financial support. I have heard through a mutual acquaintance that one of Emily's less involved friends is still in minimal contact. What transpired subsequently? Emily stayed with Brooke for a period, which led to significant tension as Emily anticipated that Brooke would cover her expenses without contributing herself, much to Jordan's surprise. Unsurprisingly, he disappeared once the vacation concluded and reality returned, showing he had no intention of providing support or engaging with her ongoing issues in the long run. He enjoyed his trip, and that was the extent of it. She seemingly attempted to manipulate her parents for financial support, likely achieving some degree of success. However, they were unable to sustain her previous lifestyle indefinitely. The last update indicated that she had to return to her hometown and reside with her parents once more. She is reportedly expressing ongoing dissatisfaction with her circumstances, blaming others for her situation, and exhibiting a lack of self-awareness and accountability. The most notable aspect is the welcome absence of her complaints. Cease all requests. Eliminate unnecessary complications. The apartment has regained its personal touch. I recently repainted the living room and removed some of the furniture that was previously selected. It is gratifying to reclaim the space. The act of revenge was neither loud nor explosive. The approach was calm and systematic. It involved honoring her request for no contact and allowing the logical consequences of her actions to unfold completely. She desired space, and she received an abundance of it. She placed a higher importance on a casual relationship with her former partner. She had to manage the consequences independently. She underestimated the support I provided, including the apartment and the car. Trust was compromised the moment she decided to betray it. The situation stemmed from her selling the car she believed was hers, a symbol of her status, while she was enjoying time with another individual. Admittedly, witnessing that vacant parking space upon her return was quite gratifying. The impact is significant and evident. She did not merely lose a boyfriend, she lost the stability of her comfortable life. She assumed it was her right, which was supported by my funding. It took an emotional toll on me. I took the necessary time to process the betrayal. I approached the situation logically, ensured my own protection, and maintained my dignity. She believed she could manipulate the situation, keeping me in suspense. She made a significant miscalculation. She confronted the direct and unavoidable consequences of her own decisions, and her sense of entitlement could not protect her. This represents the most gratifying outcome. I believe it is time to bid farewell to Emily and fully embrace the next chapter.